Demon Boys. Demon Boy. I kind of like Demon Boys. I kind of fuck
Damon Boy sounds good.
with it. Let
Sounds
me
cool.
share these links. Bro, but you guys are. Were you guys as hype as I was when you saw the big boys back?
Man, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
So it looks
sick.
like it feels like they're doing a Xenoblade X thing where it's like you get them later, maybe.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's kind of like an in game thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, kind of felt like since they have the whole vehicle system, if it was just like a vehicle, kind of how I'm thinking it might be, but
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
and that's kind of what I figured when I like saw the that we're gonna be calling in vehicles. Like it kind of look, but it definitely looked
Oh,
like
we're calling it vehicles?
Oh yeah,
I don't
it
know.
looks to me like Borderlands. It seems like you can just summon
Yeah,
it from the like a garage.
Oh.
that's what we're assuming. They look like there's gonna be a little bit more into like the big armored cores because like we notice, I guess, or the Discord noticed. The Discord noticed that like there's like a little slot area where it says like heavy suits or whatever.
Are we streaming now?
Yeah, we up.
Oh,
Oh,
we're
okay,
up.
My bad. I thought
we're
y'all
okay,
heard
okay.
me.
Oh no, no, I
I'm
didn't.
sharing the
That
link.
wasn't clear.
I'm sharing.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
okay, got you. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
My bad.
I
Um,
put up the event in the DXM Discord in case folks want to tune in.
Oh, appreciate it. I thought about doing it and I kind of forgot.
Good.
I kind of forgot. But yeah, I'm like super excited, man. I'm excited as I know there's a bunch. I wanted to include the community or as much people as we can because I know a lot of people have like been able to dissect it and probably like seen a lot more than we have. Besides
yeah, yeah.
the disorder is a cheat code, but a lot notice a lot of things that we probably haven't noticed.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
people are definitely scrutinizing every detail, which I'm grateful for. Thanks, guys.
No, it helps
Great.
me
Yeah.
a lot, bro, because I've been doing my best to like get as much information out there as possible, and people keep saying like I'm the only one. You're the only one doing it. You're the only one doing it, which is wasn't entirely true, but yeah, there's the only like only me besides you guys. There's Phantom, and we're the only people covering like DXM content, at least
Mhm.
as of
Yeah,
right now.
we got to
But
go harder.
yeah, that's what I just tell people that like, yo, like you guys, people are always like, yo, why don't people talk about this? I was like, we have to do it. Like, you can't sit here and wait. Like, you got to show interest. If you want content creators to do it, you got to what up, Radiant. If you want content creators to do it, you got to show them that they want it. If you want the, I mean, and it's not like the DXM devs aren't pushing hard. Like, they're definitely like promoting the game. So it's up to
Mhm.
us.
Yeah,
Like, we got to be the ones to talk about it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What up,
the
Dex?
producers from there, like hanging out, talking, you know, I spoke with the Marvelous producers. I didn't really get a chance to speak to any of the uh any of uh the developer guys, just the publishing producers.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I'm definitely getting some weird feedback on this mic. Sorry.
I hear it now. I didn't hear it before, but I hear me a little bit. It's not bad.
It, it's not bad. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
I'm
horrible.
not worried about it to be real.
Well,
Not
if you
too
want, I
worried.
can kind of run down what I saw and what kind of what I did.
Yeah,
It was pretty popular. There's a lot of people there.
yeah, I noticed that too in the YouTube. Like, there's definitely like a lot of people playing. Like, I definitely didn't expect it to be like that much interest in it, but it looked like it was packed. I tried to find you in the little video. I didn't know if you were in there or not.
Oh, there's a video. I didn't
Yeah, they
see.
showed the
Maybe I'm in there for a
crowd, and I
second.
was like, I wonder if I can see you.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of in the back. I should take a look, see who pops up.
It's kind of dark. They had like this weird like purple lighting over it. So I was like, man, I wonder if I can find this sword there. I was like, but and told the channel I was like, look for a white guy, long hair.
Yeah, yeah. I was way in the back, kind of, because also they were doing like swag sessions in between every presentation, so there was just like a big crowd kind of enveloping that stage. Because at the end of every presentation, they'd be throwing stuff out there. They had some cool stuff, but I didn't really want to crawl over anybody to get it.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. Zeta, what up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like what? Okay, like what was the first thing you noticed? Like when you first played the game, like how did it feel?
First thing I noticed, you started off in the character creator.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like quite a bit more fleshed out, kind of a lot more going on than the first character creator in terms of, just hair and eyebrows and like costume parts. You could there was much more actual editing of like the outfit rather than just selecting the colors like you did in the first game. So that was kind of cool. I got like this cool like cape thing that I could choose and a couple other things that you have options for. So that was kind of nice. Um, and you start playing it, it pops you directly into the hangar. Your first mission is to go talk to some guy, which you do. This guy Forge, and he does some explaining, and he's pretty nice guy. I'm a big Forge fan for like the 3 seconds that I met him. He has a little
Forge from
robot
the
buddy
X
named
Men.
Toby. What's that? Oh yeah, almost. He does kind of bear resemblance, actually. A little less 90s out, but still there.
That's funny.
And actually, it was kind of funny because I went to the hangar and I started looking through the mech parts and like all the heads and arms and weapons and stuff. But to be honest, I really just wanted to go play. Like I just wanted to get in the world. So
Yeah.
I did not really get into the nitty gritty of part stats or like, in fact, even like all the parts. The demo had 3 sets of armor. It had a light armor, a medium armor, and a heavy armor for like that whole set they had for each part. So you could do like all heavy or all medium, or you could, pick and choose. Um, but kind of a funny thing happened. So when you get to you in the hangar, you select a mission. There's like a drop down, or not a drop down, but a menu, and you choose one of the available missions. And then in order to proceed, you go to the exit point and you have to put on your suit, and then you can go through the door. In order to
Mm.
put on the suit, you go
Interesting.
to this little circle and you stand in the circle and you press X, and it like transforms you. Like you just go
Ooh.
cool metal transforming into your biosuit. And I was definitely like mouth agape. I was just like, damn, that's so cool. And
Wow.
I actually sat in that circle, like just transforming and untransforming like 5 or 6 times because I was just like, yay, this is great. And then the producer came over to me and she was like, oh, you can start the mission by going that way.
Oh,
So I
because
was
she
like,
saw you just
Just
like
playing around.
transforming
yeah.
in and out.
Other
So
people
I think
gotta
she thought I
play.
was like confused or something, but it was just like, no, man, I'm just marveling at how sick this is. So, and then after that, we started talking a little bit, and I was kind of telling her a little bit of my background. I didn't want to get too deep into it, but I was like, oh, I used to do a lot of PvP and hosted some tournaments and stuff, and so I'm really interested. Just to get that right out the gate, I didn't outright ask about PvP, but I did, of course, hint towards it, and there was no comment. So we'll see. But I think they specifically avoided that. And also, when I was asking about the big giant robots, they said, "Oh, well, we'll see how that goes." So they
Wait,
were
who'd
they
you
were
who'd
being
you ask the
intentionally,
producers?
yeah. I didn't outright ask, but I did like gently nudge, gently hint because I didn't want to. They're spending their time there. They obviously have a very clear direction in what they're allowed to talk about and what they're not allowed to talk about. So I didn't push them too hard on that stuff. But I did
Yeah.
just casually bring it up, and they were like, "Oh yeah, can't quite expand on that right now, but we're excited to see what you guys think and that kind of thing."
Mm.
Kind of generic producer speak, but they were very nice. They were friendly folks.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Huh.
so like that bit, having that happen, like, are you still like very skeptical on them adding BBP, or like, are you do you think it's more likely now?
Me personally, I'm pretty skeptical, but I mean, Demon X Machina 1 came out without PvP. I
Right.
don't think there was any like discussion beforehand by the devs. I don't think there was any questions. I don't think they were like, "Hey, do you guys want us to add PvP?" Or, "By the way, PvP is coming." If I recall correctly, none of that went down. So it's still, if we're going by the first game as the standard, then it's still completely possible that PvP is
Right.
just coming at some point.
I'm pretty sure it's like one of the last things we found out. Like I'm pretty sure they were like, yeah, we're adding PvP, but it's gonna be after launch. Like it's not gonna be like when the game drops. But I don't think, like you said, the game was new. It's a brand new title. I don't think anybody was like asking for it or begging for it. I think this is just something
I think
to.
we're getting PvP.
I think we
I'm
are
pretty
too.
sure. Yeah, but I think it will be interesting considering that now we know that this game is open world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, that's what they said in the because I watched the IGN interview before we. Did you see the IGN interview, Eclipse?
Yeah, yeah. I did a live
Yeah,
reaction
yeah,
to it.
yeah. So I watched that before we got here, and then they mentioned it was open world, and now seeing how big the areas are, and I'm like, well, they can't do PvP there. But I mean, I guess even with Daemon X Machina 1, they kind of made small versions of these areas for the PvP.
Right. They
Um,
literally just cut up
so
the levels or whatever.
Oh
Like there
yeah.
were just certain parts of the level where the PvP maps. Besides, no,
yeah,
even
yeah,
tunnels, right? Tunnels was a PvE map too, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that's
will be
exploration basically.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. But I will be interested, even outside of like the open world aspect, just the fact that we're in these much faster armored suits now. It will be interesting to see how they balance PvP around how fast you move now, because I imagine it'll be a bit harder for people to hit each other when you're in these suits that are like much faster than and smaller
Mm.
than what we were using in Daemon X Machina 1.
See, you weren't there for in-game PvP, and that was a huge problem with like once you start getting to the people who are meta build and literally just built for speed. Like that was a huge problem. Like it was just hard to hit people. So we had a lot of timeouts in our tournaments and sometimes even fight nights. Like because it was just too hard to hit people. Like and I know a lot of PC players ended up using the aim assist module because PC had like an advantage because of the frame rate. The aim assist module, like you literally do not have to aim. So people would use that to try to hit, and that would help, kind of change the timeouts from happening. But a lot of people thought it was broken or OP, so which it was. Like you
Yeah.
literally didn't have to aim, and so yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it's
already a problem. And it's honestly with PvP, it's my biggest like complaint. It's like
Somebody in the chat asked, did Daemon X Machina have post boss shootouts before PvP was added?
no, that was
I'm
added
pretty sure.
with
Oh, that
PvP.
was added after?
It was added when they added PvP.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
okay, okay. I
it
didn't
came
remember.
with the bounty system, and then people were mad about that because people were going in there with PvP builds. I mean, I didn't care, but people were going there with PvP builds, waiting for the mission to be over, and then just bodying people with PvE builds.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's the bounty didn't mean anything, and it got hacked up before it really meant anything. Like it only meant something probably in that first week. The
Yeah.
ranking system, and then people were already cheating.
But yo, yeah. But yo, Disorder, what so you got into the actual game, like the mission.
yes,
What
I
went
did.
on? Yeah. So what went
I
on when you
hang on, sorry, I'm gonna try to get this collab stream thing going if possible.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay. That's what we had it working that one when we did the last fight night. I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think I have to add you or something, or you have to add me.
Oh yeah, I think it worked. Maybe?
I don't know. I'm not
I'm not
looking.
sure.
You gotta like knock, or yeah, you have to like knock or something.
Mhm.
Knock.
I don't. Oh, I see you're
But
up.
it'll
Hold on. I might be able to figure it out. I don't know if it's gonna mess with the sound settings though, because I don't think we were in Discord last time.
it messed up the stream now though.
Oh, it did shit.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
I've been looking at the stream the whole time. Like, yeah, so now Eclipse isn't showing.
That might be
and
on
I'm not
mine.
showing either. It's just disorders.
That might be on mine.
Gosh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Nah,
my
No, 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 no.
bad.
It's
I think
not
that's
because I don't think
mine.
it's that. It's
That
on the
should.
eclipses, and he did something. Okay,
Oh
we're
yeah, it
back
looks
now.
good now, I think.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, we're
worried
back.
that if we join, I don't know what the audio is gonna do.
If you join your whatever camera is set up in your Twitch collab thing,
Mm-hmm.
it'll interrupt what's going on Discord if it's the same camera.
Yeah, I don't want to
So
mess
if you
with
have
it.
virtual camera on the Twitch collab thing, then it's gonna cut off
I don't.
whatever's going on
I
here.
don't think I do,
Yeah.
but I don't.
But
I don't know if I want to risk it.
yeah, don't risk it.
Hmm.
But
Don't risk it.
but yeah, if you stream,
But
you
yeah,
can
so I,
film it for sure.
I did get in that mission. Well, the first time I was there, I wasn't really interested in the mission objectives. I kind of just wanted to like roam around. So
Yeah.
that's what I did. And some quick takeaways. Everything is lootable.
What
Well,
up,
not
Jay?
at all, demons. Not at all. I do appreciate. Sorry, demons is trying to help me with some technical issues in the chat, but
J
not at all about
Boulevard, what's up, man?
What up, Jay?
it. Is there? So everything is lootable. Every enemy, like everything. It seemed that
Mm.
the split bee, like just the tiniest little enemy that you could knock down, you could loot that. So it seemed like everything was heavily lootable. Additionally, there seemed to be a pretty deep consumable system, like a lot of I don't know what the actual term might be, but potions basically. You start with a bunch of healing potions. A lot of the small enemies when they drop consumables are I'm sorry, when you loot them, they drop consumables. So when you beat up small enemies, go for the loot, you grab a like a defense up potion or like an attack up potion, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just the movement in general, it did seem quite a bit more ground based. You do have infinite hover, which is awesome because
Okay.
I love the infinite flight mode, and I was worried that that wouldn't come back. You can hover indefinitely. It doesn't cost femto or stamina. You do have for lack of a better term, sprint. There's like a sprint, which you can use in air and on ground, and that does cost femto to use. But the femto cost seemed pretty minimal. Like you can just hold that thing down and fly around, and you could hold it down for like 10 seconds straight, and you'd lose about a quarter of your femto. So it was not limiting in any way. And the actual flying itself, like while you're holding down that boost. Now I didn't try the feather. This boost is equipped to left thumbstick, and we click thumbstick, and I didn't want to mess up their controller by mashing on the thumbstick repeatedly, and I didn't
Yeah.
want to mess with the settings or anything either. So, but yeah, flying around was very Superman-esque, very like looping, like big, huge arcing motions. It wasn't quite as direct as Demon X Machina 1 mechs, but it also seemed quite a bit more ground-based. Like for example, I was speaking about the hover, and when I did mess around with some of the armor parts, and I put on the three heavy or all the heavy armor, the head, arms, body, legs. And when I was moving around in hover, it's like you can hardly move it. You
Mm.
you're like a snail in the air when you have the
What?
full heavy armor equipped. And
Oh,
of
okay,
course,
okay.
I'm sure that will change. I'm sure you can get way better parts. This is all just the starter stuff, so I'm sure you can increase your aerial mobility by quite a bit. Just like in the first game, if you played Demon X Machina Day 1 and Demon X Machina Day 400, they don't even feel like the same game. And I imagine this is totally capable of that as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So my favorite part by far was that, well, there's two really cool things. When you're wandering around the map, there are these unlockable points. I don't know exactly what to call them, like very similar to maybe a bonfire in Elden Ring or like a waypoint. And once you unlock it, you just navigate to it and you see it, and it looks like some closed down, you know, uh, radar or something. And then you activate it, and those turn into hangar access points. So once you unlock that, you can access the hangar from any of those points across the map. So that was pretty
Oh,
sweet.
are those the supply
Oh,
bases
that's
they were talking about
fire.
in the IGN live?
So it was
Yeah.
actually a separate thing. There throughout the map also, I only found one and it was pretty close to the starting area, but there was a gigantic garage looking thing and the producer was standing there watching me and I was just like, "Oh, that's cool." And they're like, "Yeah, that is cool, but you won't unlock that till later on." And I was like, "Okay." But I assume that's what that
Okay.
was. Like I believe that's probably where you summon weapons from and that kind of thing. And it's possible they'll
Interesting.
work as fast travel points, but I'm also not sure if it's full open world or if it's a bunch of interconnected small open worlds, but it
Okay.
felt pretty like a full open world once you get out there.
So
Did you get? Oh wait, go
you go
on.
ahead. No,
Yeah.
you go ahead.
Did you get to? So did you get to ride like any of the vehicle stuff or no? Was were any
I
of
did
those open?
not.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm not sure if they weren't in there or if I just didn't find them. But unfortunately, the time was pretty quick, and also I really wanted to just like run around, but the producers were sort of gently
Oh yeah.
encouraging me to, yeah, pretty much like, hey, what's that over there? Oh, I think you
Yeah.
should check that
Oh,
orange thing. It's
gotcha.
like, okay, okay, I get it. Again,
So
that's their job, so I got no problem with that.
and as this is a like quick thing, and I'll let you get to it, Eclipse. How did you feel about how the graphics looked in person? I know I've been saying the game looks pretty nice, but like, how did you feel about the visuals in person?
Oh, I personally thought they were really great. I think it looked beautiful. This was on Xbox, if I'm not mistaken. They had
Oh,
Xbox Series there, and that's what we were playing
okay.
on. And it looked really gorgeous. I do also love the new. I mean, I really liked the aesthetic of DXM1, how everything is just really neoned out,
Mhm.
like bright ass colors, green skies, purple, pink, orange everywhere. I really like that personally. This obviously says what we've seen from the trailers and everything is quite a bit darker, quite a bit
Yeah.
more like bio sci-fi horror, and it really comes through though. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It looks awesome. Yeah,
I'm
I
hoping.
think I think it's great.
I'm really hoping those are just the beginning areas, and they still like include these bright sci-fi looking areas because
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
one of
yeah.
the coolest things about DXM. Like that bright green forest was one of my favorite places, and just cause, just how it looked,
Yeah.
it was just kind of a vibe. I was gonna ask you, so it definitely didn't feel like the open world aspect. It didn't feel like it was just a continue on. Like, does it? Do you think you can just take mission after mission in the open world, or is it like you do a mission, go back to base, do a mission, go back to base?
That is hard to tell because there was only one mission, and then when I finished it, the demo just ends. So I'm not sure
Mm,
what the natural progression of things would be. It's very possible that it's a huge open world. I didn't really see an end to it, but I also like it was kind of a situation where imagine if you're playing like Oblivion or Skyrim or something, where everywhere you look, there's just something to look at. Like,
yeah.
oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Hey, what's this thing? Oh, what's that thing? So I never, I like didn't actually get to sort of step back and take everything in. I was just moving from piece of candy to piece of candy, basically.
Mm. Did you see any dead
Hmm.
bodies? Like, because there's supposed to
Saw
be
some strays.
some strays.
They're called, yeah, now they're actually called specifically stray now with a Y. No longer are they known as stray.
No. They said in the IGN
How did?
Live, if people die, you can like loot their bodies. Kind of
Oh,
like,
damn. Well,
yes.
Mm,
So I was wondering if
the
they were in
boss
the demo.
The boss is kind of like a giant dude. Actually, somebody posted a screenshot in the DXM Discord earlier, which is the boss, which is the one that I fought.
Mm.
And it's sort of like a giant bipedal monster, just like a normal dude, but all, horrored out, super sci-fi flesh metal creature thing. And that kind of looked like a body.
how did combat feel?
I felt pretty good. I would say also I was still not really getting the hang of it.
Right, right.
Because again,
Yeah.
I wanted to like run around. But it felt pretty good. You started off with two swords and two guns, and of course there's a million once you go to the hangar. I actually did mess around with a few different weapons. It's all the swords, all the melee items had combos.
Mm.
So if you walk up and you smash that sword button a bunch of times, you'll do like a cool. spinning around, slash 'em up combo. So that was quite a bit more fleshed out than DXM1 already, in which case every sword just has one attack.
One combo, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, it's pretty hard to say. Also, I was still kind of, oh, I guess that's something I should touch on is the lock-on system. So it's pretty
Yeah.
similar to like a hybrid between DXM1 and Armored Core. There is a regular soft lock with a big reticle, and I'm assuming the head part influences reticle size, just like in the first game.
Yes.
But and you can shoot while you're locked on soft, but you do have the option to hard lock. On once you get a lock, you can press the right thumbstick, and that will become a hard lock, sort of like Z targeting in Ocarina of Time. That's like the best analogy I could come up
Oh.
with.
So it's not
Because
like
then you,
how it's not like how in yeah. It also
oh yeah,
looks
it looks like it's
like
down.
yeah, it's gone. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
we're
it
back
did?
now. Yeah, it's back. It's back
Oh,
now.
back.
Weird. I don't know what just happened there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on either. But we're back. Y'all good in the chat?
Y'all good? I saw someone drop a link. That's what I thought I was. No, yeah, it did reset. Fuck. What the hell happened?
Yeah, I did get a spam link, which I deleted. It's funny because yeah, as soon as I banned that guy is when the thing went down.
Oh,
So,
don't say that. We're getting
whoops.
hacked. We're getting hacked.
That is crazy.
Yeah, overall, the
Radio
combat
City.
felt
Marvelous
pretty
shut us
good.
down.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. They don't like what we're saying.
This
Yeah, yeah.
game's not out yet.
Yeah, hey, spoilers.
Man. So I'm trying to look at all this new stuff. I do want to talk about
Have you guys checked out the
some of
website at
like
all?
that's what I'm looking at now. I do want to talk about some of the stuff I saw in the trailer and in the IGN footage that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
I did see, well, maybe they already showed this in previous trailers, but I did see like chain attacks are seem like they're back. Like,
The melee chain attacks where you kind of zip
yeah,
between
the melee
enemies.
chain attacks are back.
Mm-hmm.
And the bike, maybe they already showed the bike too.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but when the bike, seeing the vehicles actually like in motion and seeing
Mm-hmm.
them actually use them in like uninterrupted gameplay, they look cool.
Yeah, nah, it looks pretty tight to me, bro.
It
Like,
looks pretty tight.
I know people was
Yeah,
ragging on the
I'm on board.
horse, but I was like, that shit gonna be fun. Like, you guys y'all hating, but let these games be games, bro. And you can attack while you're on the horse. So I was
Yes.
worried if they were gonna do that or not. But yeah, like that shit looked pretty tight to me.
Mhm. No, it does look cool, and I do think it's like necessary too. It looks like it's a pretty big open world. Oh shit, my mic just went crazy.
You
Um,
sound fine on.
Pretty big open world, and like the movement is kind of slow. It's I mean, well, just based on the scale of the world, it took a little while to get places. So I think the vehicles kind of will do a great job of making the world a little more accessible. I mean, not that it wasn't, but you were definitely just running, running
Yeah.
from mountain to mountain.
Yeah. The this is a slight tangent from what we're talking about too, because I know a lot of people don't care about this aspect of Daemon X Machina as much. But it looks like the way they're presenting the story now is they're gonna have more like um I don't want to say, I guess you can say cutscenes, because in Daemon X Machina 1 they kind of told the story through these like dialogue boxes,
Right, which I
you
kind of
know.
like.
But in the IGN footage and in the trailer, they're showing a lot more, or maybe that's just what they're cutting for the trailer. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, but
Oh, well, I
it
can
looks like
confirm that the player character definitely has voice lines. They're not. He doesn't. He's not like
Mm-hmm.
chatting up a storm, but he does talk to the other characters in the hangar and stuff. And I think in the first game, they actually had a relatively deep voice customization where you could
Yeah.
select a bunch of pre-made voices and all the character voices and stuff. But it was really only for combat sounds like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. They
yeah,
didn't really have any actual voice lines where they spoke words. But in this case, your guy is definitely talking and actually interacting with, or girl, is having conversations with folks, which is pretty cool. A little
Mm-hmm.
more humanizing.
Yeah, when I was
Yeah, yeah,
looking
yeah.
at so when I look on the website, you can actually listen to the main character. You can listen to all the characters. They've shown voices, and I didn't check the Japanese website, but they do have the English voices on the English website. And yeah, I noticed they only had like 4 different voices for the main character, and he actually has a name. His name is Nova. So, and then he also has a backstory, or her, and he has relationships with some of the other characters as well. So it looks like it's gonna be like a full fledged backstory, like that your character is deeply involved in. He's not as, I'm not saying that he wasn't in the last game, but it wasn't as, the talkless hero. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think you're right. The first game, you were pivotal to the whole story, but you
Right.
also were just like a tool the whole time.
Right.
Not like a tool as in a derogatory fashion, but you were just like you were the MacGuffin, or I guess whatever you want to call it. But in this, yeah, it seems like and in the first game you didn't really make any choices either. You just had to
No.
complete whatever objective you had until the very, very end of the ending, and you got to make one choice.
Mm-hmm.
But in
Yeah.
this, I wonder if
Yeah.
they're going to allow for more narrative choices and more like story uh, manipulation. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely kind of seems like they're leaning that way. I don't want to, like, somebody asked me on my YouTube, and I was like, I'm not sure. Like, I don't think you're gonna be making, like, he was asking specifically if you're gonna be able to, like, choose a faction. I was like, well, it doesn't even look like there's that many factions to begin with as of right now. So, well, I mean, we'll
Yeah.
see, but I don't think so.
Is it showing gameplay on my screen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's actually
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
sounding
yeah,
pretty tight.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, this was the IGN footage. This is them talking about also like apparently when you kill enemies, right? You're fusing like their DNA with your character.
Yeah, so I
And
wanted to
and the
go ahead, go
yeah,
ahead.
and the DNA, right? It gives you different like stats and upgrades and stuff like that, but you're forced to change your appearance based on the DNA that you fuse.
Mm-hmm.
So it can like mutate your character to look kind of like how when you would do skill tree stuff and Daemon X Machina 1, and if you would equip Blink, for example, then your character would start to look really like um
Like a robotic.
skinny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
robotic. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it feels like they're doing something like that here where it's like you have to choose between your appearance and your abilities,
Mm-hmm. Can you
you
pull up the
know.
website on here?
Yeah, I can pull up the website,
Now,
yeah.
so they've
Yeah, that
shown,
is-
and again, shout out to the Discord because they're quick on it. But like, so they kind of show like kind of what happens to your character as he like fuses, and he like literally starts to turn into
Oh.
a monster. Like it's kind of tight. Like check, I think it's gameplay,
Gameplay.
and you go to fusion. So this is definitely like a twist on the last game's mechanic. Go up and fusion's on.
Yeah, because I will say that that
Oh,
particular
okay.
feature was definitely drew the ire of
Scroll up
quite
a
a few
bit.
players in the first game. They just really wanted to be
Oh,
able
I
to
see it.
not
I
have
see
to
Yeah.
it.
use that hidden stuff.
Well, I'm sure they're gonna like
Fuse.
allow you to like use the cosmetics to like change it, like. But it's still a cool concept because like even in the first game you could use um the DLC to change your how you looked if you didn't like how you looked. Granted, you don't give you many options, but it sounds like they're because considering how you can make your armor and stuff invisible, like I'd be surprised if you can't like change it. Yeah, check that
But I'm gonna
out,
be.
man. Look at it. That shit's crazy.
Oh. But you know what though?
That shit
I'm
tight
gonna
though.
be honest with you. I think that's kind of tight. How
I
like it's like it gives some lore to
yeah.
the yeah. It makes it feel like yeah, your character actually has to go through these physical. I don't know.
Hmm.
I just like
No,
cool
and
shit
it
like that.
like so. I'm trying to go through the story now because people keep asking me like, "Can you do a breakdown of the story for the second game comes out?" So like, spoiler alert if you guys didn't haven't played the game. But like it fits the story from the first game because the immortals that you're fighting are fighting you because they want to like you to evolve, and the femto is evolving you. So it's kind of the same thing where like you're using these fusion and femtoparticles, and you're as a human, you're starting to evolve into this thing, so you can protect yourself. So like them,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me.
but
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, so it kind of reminds me of like the Guyver
yeah,
or
Yes.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
the Common Rider almost or something like that.
Nah, it's pretty tight. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool. Like it is ugly, but it's tight. Like, and then it's a choice you
Yeah.
make. Like, do I want to use Blink, or do I want to be pretty?
Mhm.
Yeah, I chose Blink because
Oh yeah, every time.
I just want to look. It's more important for me to schmoove. I'm gonna be pretty if I'm
Yeah, I'm
schmooving,
trying to smooth.
you know.
I'm trying
So
to smooth.
nah, that's fire though. So yeah, and then I was looking at. I was trying to get the
Radiant, did
this
I
is the
make the
bike.
wrong? Is it the? It's the Immortals, right? In the first game, maybe I'm thinking of a different, or maybe
I got to
got it
refresh
mixed up.
myself on the story
No,
too.
Bro,
it's
because
the Immortals.
the story is a lot. The story is a lot,
Yeah,
and
it's a
that's
lot.
like,
Yeah.
and that was I didn't realize like until I watched the IGN. Like the game is 6 years old, and I was like, I played it 6 years ago. I don't remember it, and it was a lot back then. So
Also, looking at this footage again too, man. Like, I'm glad we're seeing like a next gen. Like, this game
bro,
looks nice.
yeah, it
It
looks
looks
nice,
pretty,
and
and
I
it's look running smooth. Like,
Mirage is back. That junk is
oh man,
fire.
that broken ass shit.
That shit fire. I love
Well, maybe
Mirage.
the AI will be a little stronger this time because the Mirage in the first game, it's I mean it is a very powerful mechanic, but I also think it's just really funny how the AI controller for the Mirage just does some really silly things sometimes.
Yeah, they're kind of.
I feel like the Mirage was literally just there as a distraction. The
Mm,
AI was not like. It would be
it's.
cool if you could make the AI for Mirage like a little deeper somehow. Like
I noticed
maybe
like
you.
playing the first one is like if you give them certain weapons, they're better than others. So like I had
Mhm.
like a joke. It was a joke build, but it actually ended up being pretty effective even in PvP. Where two hammers and the rail cannon, where rail cannon's super hard to hit because you got to charge, right? But for some
Mhm.
reason, the Mirage will hit every time, almost every time if they're in sight. So I would pop Mirage, get on the ground, as if somebody was approaching me, and Danny knows. Danny got hit by this combo a couple times, and they would actually hit the cannon more often than not. They're
And then
also
I'm
there's of
loving it.
course the famous the Mirage with the charge lasers like the Vanish Loa, the beam
yes,
lasers. Yeah.
certain
And
weapons
it
they
was
were
useless, but it was cool.
yeah certain weapons are useless on for sure, but it looked cool. The
Well,
grab
by the
yo,
way,
this shit looks so clean, bro.
dude, I'm just looking at the trailer. Like, look at even like the what. I can't wait till like the late game stuff starts to pop up. I feel like the
Yeah,
movement and the
it's gonna be
style in this game is
crazy.
gonna reach higher
I think
heights than the first one.
I think
You
so
know, like
too.
I feel like people are gonna be styling in this game,
I
man.
think so
Like
too. And then look at the
I
big boys.
the big boys, man. Hold on. This is the chain attack part I was talking. That was the chain attack part I was talking.
Oh yeah, and you
Uh
can do that chain attack on singular enemies too. In the first game, you could only chain if there were
Mm,
multiple enemies to bounce between. But in this game, you can just do a straight up sword combo on anyone, any one enemy
yeah,
at a time.
mm.
that's fire. But yeah, these are the big boys. My God, man.
Bro, isn't it clean? Oh my god! Like, and then there's two of them, right? There's two of them focused on one, so that's probably co-op mode, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's
Oh
co-op. Or it could be
yeah.
your AI, you know, how they have
Oh yeah, true.
the allies in single player mode. Yeah. Um
I will say the coolest thing that I saw during the demo, that in my opinion was just awesome, was that while you're roaming around just this big open world, there are giant immortals just roaming,
Oh,
and you
that's
can fight them.
sick.
They're really
Oh, that's
hard.
so sick.
Yeah, I was kind of just wandering, and I saw some stuff on the map markers, and I was flying around, and I looked over, and I'm like, wait, is what? And way in the distance is this gigantic Gunfort just
Just
walking.
walking around. Oh,
It's
that's
just a Gunfort
fire.
walking. I went and tried to fight him about 3 times, and he kicked my ass every time. But it was still it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like Monster Hunter, right? Or oh, see, I've been saying like I get a lot of Fantasy Star Online 2 vibes, and that's a thing in Fantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. There's just certain bosses that just walk around the map, and that's
Yeah.
kind of to me it sounds like they pulled a lot from Fantasy Star. I want to see if they tackle the exploration mode again. Or,
They got to. I feel like
right?
that's what this is. This
Just a
new
big
game is like an expansion of the exploration mode.
because
Yeah, I mean the loot
that's
system is much deeper than before.
so I wonder like how
Yeah.
much is like randomly generated because if the bosses are just walking around, they could be randomly generated and maybe different bosses
Oh
different
yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah.
Because it definitely
Oh
sounds
yeah,
like they're trying to up on the looting aspect and just having maybe it has like rare enemies like Fantasy Star did and maybe they have better drop rates or something like that. But just give
yeah.
you
The
a
vibe I
reason,
got was
more
that it was
reason
pretty
to
random.
explore over and over again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
100%.
Like if you beat that Gunfort, does he respawn? Can you go back and fight him again? I'm not really sure.
Right.
But
Man.
and I can touch on the weapons briefly. So
Oh
I
yeah,
did
yeah,
try out
yeah.
a few different weapons. There was the two weapons that I actually tried out. Well, I think I started with a laser sword and a regular sword, and then an Astraeus 2. So it's like all the weapons are renamed, but they are visually pretty identical to their previous counterparts. So Astraeus 2 is one of the starting weapons, which is an assault rifle. I did try. It's funny because I was talking with the producers and was talking about how the first game, like, once you understand all the fights, it can be difficult to find a challenge because, if I was just saying, I had to tell them once you get the bazooka with all the attachments and you use assault shift, then any boss, including Zerakor, you can kind of just
Right.
walk all over him, unfortunately. But that's natural for a game that's been out for so long. People find all the exploits. And he was like, "Oh yeah, well, why don't you go ahead and equip the bazooka and go fight Gunfort?" And so I put on and the cool part was my guy was like completely loaded to the gills. So on one pylon I had the bazooka, the other pylon I had the X-ray. In hand I had a sword and an Astraeus, and on my back shoulder I had an ogre break. It looks like ogre break. Again, it's got a different name, I forget.
Mm.
But the X-ray and the bazooka are both two-handed weapons. So when you pull it out, you're holding it in both hands. So you can't fire the
Mm.
X-ray and like a pistol or something. It's just like a double-handed. But that
They didn't do
said,
that in the first game, did
No,
they?
yeah, no,
no.
no, they did
There were
not.
no. I don't think there were any
That,
two-handed weapons, right?
nope,
Yeah, I
not
don't.
that I know
Yeah,
of.
that's
Yeah.
But
interesting. Okay.
you could bring them, which was cool. I just thought that's awesome. You can have two-handed guns on your pylons and two unique weapons in your hands and a shoulder weapon of some kind. So it was just like, holy shit, for lack
No,
of a better term, I'm an arsenal.
yeah, that's pretty tight. No, that's sick. So they still don't limit you, even though they're two-handed weapons. That's pretty sick.
Yeah,
I
they
know
occupy
they.
just one slot.
I know people in the Discord also saw that there's two-handed melee weapons now. There's like a two-handed sword, at least. I don't know if we've seen anything else, but I think it was. I forgot his name. Barrel. I think he had found some of those things.
Mhm.
I think it was Barrel.
Yeah, I've seen the video for the two-handed. It looks like it's a green laser sword and it has a two-handed attack. Like one of its attacks is two-handed, but I'm not sure if the whole thing is two-handed.
Terra,
It looked pretty sweet.
you could double hand maces in the first game. You couldn't double hand. You couldn't cross slash Chronos, but you could maces.
Yeah, that's right.
I would know. Disorder would know too. He's been the victim of it a couple times.
And
Yeah,
that's and I didn't get in any of the systems. There's like a deep. I'm pretty sure there's all sorts of deep attachments and like deep, with the shifts and like the evolving
Mm.
stuff and even just like weapon stats. I didn't really look at any of that. I just was like, I wanna roam,
Yeah. No, I
but
would do the same thing. I'm
there's a
just
lot
trying to
going
get
so
on.
in.
so real quick. I don't know if you're looking at the stream disorder, but when you were customizing your armor, that part at the bottom, I'm looking at something that says like heavy armor. Is that like a preset thing?
I think that's what we think the arsenals are.
That's what I was
Hmm.
gonna say. Like, is that like a preset or is that like our or the big
The big
boys?
boys. We think
Yeah.
that's the
So
big boys.
it may have been just because it's so early in the game, but if I recall correctly, on that screen, I did not have the guy in the back. It was just blank.
And see,
So it
that.
might be something you unlock later, or they just didn't have
Hmm.
it in the demo. But I don't recall seeing it.
And that's what kind of makes us think it's gonna be like the
Interesting.
scales because it's something that looks like it's you're gonna have access to, and it's a whole separate thing. So it
Yeah,
might be
because
like
I'm
an
like looking
in-game
at that.
thing, or maybe certain areas. I don't know, but it definitely looks like those things are customizable and are an important part of the game at the very least.
Yeah. Man,
The laser
okay. Yeah,
sword
I was
team
curious
slash
about
melee
that.
skill.
So when you
Maybe.
say so when you said you were choosing between heavy and light, it wasn't like a pre-build thing that they let
Oh
you
yeah.
choose.
No, sorry, that was just in the item select screen, or like in the like when I was going through the heads, for example. It was like there were three heads to choose from. One was light, one was medium, one was heavy,
Gotcha,
and
gotcha.
that was
Mm,
the case for all of them. And I think they were all
Okay.
part of their own sets.
right,
And like
right.
I
So it
said, the
looks
heavy one was very heavy.
interesting. So it looks like that heavy armor thing at the bottom is just like that might be our like the big arsenals.
Hmm.
That
That's what
might
we're
be what that
thinking.
is. Um,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think that's what most people are leaning towards. So we'll have to see.
yeah, yeah. By the way, the boss that you said you fought a boss, right? In the demo, or did you fight like did you finish the mission?
Yes, I finished the mission, and in that mission there was a boss, and it was just me versus the boss, and I think a couple little guys, like a couple little ads enemies,
How
shows
did
up.
okay, I bring that up to ask, how did the enemy design feel to you?
It felt cool. I mean, the stuff I was fighting was like pretty
Basic.
normal. Yeah, like they had little flying flesh. They weren't in the previous game. They had the spit bees, which are the names for the little flying robots that are just everywhere. The
Hmm.
first little guys I encountered were these like kind of flesh blob creatures that were flying around, and just shot them down or slashed them up, and then you land and you loot them. And I looted a couple of potions, and yeah, the big boss when I was fighting him. I can actually find a screenshot in the Discord because it's a
Yeah,
fairly
that's what
recent.
I'm looking for now. I was gonna
Oh yeah,
throw it in the
let me see
chat.
if I can.
Tara, do you know? Do you have it on you?
Did they say co-op is only 3 players
It's
now?
only 3 players now. They've
Yes.
Yeah, that's been
Interesting.
confirmed. I don't know why. We were talking about that too. Like people think it's because it's a balance thing, and that's why that's becoming more. I'm scrolling, more of an
Mm.
issue, or where more games are going 3 players co-op instead of four. But a little disappointed because I'm just one of those people who think co-op should be getting bigger, not smaller now. But it's still
Yeah.
I
nice.
posted a picture of that boss in our group chat. So
Good shit, good shit.
Let me see, let me see, let me see. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay, I see, I see, I see. Is this oh man. What did
Right?
this boss do? Like as far as like what were the attacks? Like did it do anything that surprised you or it was just a basic like flailing his arms around and you know.
Yeah.
yeah, as far as I recall, it was mostly just like bashing, big monster guy. He's running after you and he's trying to smash you and swipe you and that kind of thing. I don't recall if he did any like lasers or anything, but I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
was just smacking you.
Did he hit you with the
Okay,
Zangief
okay, cool.
spin? Man,
These
Yeah,
are the
maybe.
horses. These are the horses for the people who haven't seen this yet,
that
even
joint
though I'm
is
pretty sure
tight. I don't care what nobody say.
this
When's
shit
y'all gonna
looks
see me
fire.
on the horse with the bow, acting like I'm playing Zelda? That joint is tight.
That is sick, man. That's so unique in terms of like themes and aesthetic. You don't see that kind of mix of like fantasy and sci-fi
No,
in that way. Um, very refreshing, actually. Took me by
no.
surprise at first, but I like it.
I'm all
I think it's
for it,
cool.
man. Like, make it a video game. I wanted to have all the video gaming stuff you can think of. Like, and I definitely think they went that approach, and they're just trying to make a dope, fun game. They're trying to get people involved and reach out to a broader area. And man, it looks like it, dude. Hopefully, it's still hopefully they up the ante, the difficulty, make it a little more challenging. But man, this might be my dream game. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all.
It
Yeah,
is pretty sweet.
I'm getting more excited the more they show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting more
It
excited the
felt
more they show for sure.
it's like thick. It is a thick game. There's so much stuff. Like it was so much that I barely scratched like 0.01% of the surface is how it felt when I was playing it.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
you didn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
access to the fuse system, Blink. Did you have access to Mirage?
I don't believe so. If there I don't I did press every button, but I didn't notice any mirage or shifts or
Wait,
anything like that. I
I
noticed it.
thought you maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but I thought they changed the femto system to be like specific armor. You only have one type of femto per armor.
Uh, yeah, I
Didn't
think
they?
that isn't totally perfectly clear yet. It does seem, or from what we have been able to glean, basically, it's that different core or different body parts can randomly drop with shift powers. Which again, like it would encourage continuous looting because you want to keep trying to get the right part with the right shift with the right bonuses or whatever it is that it has. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see much of it. I
You
just all the stuff that I looted. I think I looted a Stargazer at one point, which is also called
mm,
something else, and but mostly just looted a bunch of little potions and currency. You can break random rocks around and loot those. Like there's all sorts
mm.
of looting stuff going
Interesting.
Radiant
on.
said Mirage is a
Mirage is
fusion
a
upgrade.
fusion upgrade.
Yeah, so it looks
Oh,
like they okay. So it looks what was that? Looks like they are using the fusion to like probably add more skills, but some of the old skills as well, maybe for balance reasons. Because Mirage
yeah,
is
that's what
kind
I
of
was saying. Because I
crazy.
don't think it's gonna be like you can switch between wing Mirage and
Mm.
the other one, a wing Mirage and
Yeah, wing
shield.
shield and assault.
Yeah,
Mirage is
and
so
yeah,
long.
and
Yeah,
assault.
I actually do not
Um,
remember when you got Mirage. I do not
wait,
remember getting that Mirage.
I
Mirage
think
was
it's when
on.
you steal that
Oh
one.
yeah.
Yeah, like when you have to do that mission where you steal an arsenal. I believe that's when you unlock it.
I honestly do not remember. It's been so long. I just always remember it being there.
All good. And
Mirage is helping me
I
defeat
saw
the
Tara.
Lucian users. What'd you say?
Oh, sorry. I was like, Tara was asking about the scan mode, which
Oh, good
I
question.
accidentally activated a couple times, but I wasn't sure what I was doing with it. So, like, unfortunately, I can't quite comment because I'm not sure what I was seeing, but it did. I was able to activate it a bunch of times, and it felt, from what I could tell, it just looked very similar to Armor Core 6 scan mode, which is fine because I think that's a great system.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question. Uh, what are y'all getting? Because here's one issue I'm like kind of concerned about. What are y'all getting Daemon X Machina 2 on?
I
I plan on getting a
either
PC.
I'm leaning towards PC, but I might get it on PS5.
And we do
Interesting.
have confirmation
Depending,
of crossplay.
yeah,
Oh, we
it's
do have
crossplay.
crossplay.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
crossplay.
Yep.
Phew. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
crossplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. 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 Because I think I'm getting it on Switch too.
I might get it on Switch too if I have one by then. If I
Because
can.
I was a gyro user in the Daemon X
True.
Machina 1. So that's really the big thing for me is to be able to use
True.
gyro. And there's probably going to be a mouse mode now on top of that. So
That is a
I
good.
gotta have that.
Drew said he's getting it on
Just past
Switch
that they're
and
getting it
PC.
on Switch 2 and PC. Terradive says Switch 2 probably.
I haven't pre-ordered on. Zelda got pre-ordered on PS5, but he get it on PC as well. I don't know if I'm double dipping. I double dipped last time. I don't know
I
if I'm
double
double
dipped
dipping
last
this
time too.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. But I double dipped last time because the Switch 1 version wasn't the greatest.
It was not.
You know, it was good enough, but I had to see the game and see the FPS on
It's
PC.
a different
But
game.
now that's not going to be a problem.
Right.
So Switch 2 is going to run. Switch 2 is more than capable. So I'm gonna get it on there. Where did they say there's crossplay?
They said it in
Where did
they said they showed it on Steam, but they said it in the IGN live. No, did they show the IGN live?
No,
I
no,
saw
I
them
think
say it on Twitter. The official
They
I
did
think they
say
did
it on
say
Twitter.
it. They did say it.
They
Yeah.
did say it. Okay.
Um.
They did say it on
Hold
Twitter
on.
too. I saw somebody ask and they responded like the game's crossplay, so it's been confirmed for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank goodness. That's
Thank
such a
God.
like a relief. Yeah.
That's gonna be that's gonna be a major deal. That's
Yeah.
gonna be a big deal for the community.
Yeah,
Um.
that's fight nights. If they got PvP, even if they don't, like we'll run like PvE nights and shit like that. But fight night's gonna be crazy if we got
Yeah,
crossplay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it was already a slightly segmented community, and a lot of because everyone started on Switch, it came out on PC. PC players and Switch players have kind of different sensibilities about things,
Yeah.
and not only that, but they simply couldn't play together. So it's an already small community being divided further by inaccessibility. So in this case, that's not a problem at all. You can just play anything with whoever. It's
I
amazing.
also feel like, and maybe I might be wrong, but I feel like a lot of Japanese players stuck with the Switch version even after the PC version came out.
For sure.
This
Disorder.
So now,
true. Wouldn't know.
so you said what?
I said Disorder would know better than anyone else. He's cool with most of the Japanese players.
Oh, was that true? Disorder? That's the sense I got. Is that they?
Well, it
just
is called. It's similar to the as I was mentioning, is that you did kind of get two separate communities. Most of the Japanese community was on Switch, I would say. A few of them did go over to PC, but my interaction with those communities, and they're all just really awesome, just fantastic people. They were so nice and friendly and welcoming. They were playing, games with me at like 2 a.m. and stuff. But it was all PvP focused.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
the Switch PvP is different than PC PvP, just outright. Like on PC, the higher frame rate and faster speeds meant weapons just connected better. Like you were more likely to land a shot on PC, whereas on Switch with a 30 FPS and certain maps, particularly, you're just not hitting anybody. So it was kind of a different metagame and sort of a different feeling, but no, everyone was awesome, and it was still majority Switch, I would say. Switch like got together more.
Yeah.
Like there would be people playing on PC, but Switch would have like, oh, we're fighting tonight on Saturday, or we're all getting together on Monday.
I think one
so
of the
now that everyone, so now that everyone's going to be together, I think it's going to be interesting to see all those different communities like finally be able to, bring those different sensibilities together that you're talking.
Dude, because I always said like the people on the Switch were always like a little bit more creative than PC players. Like the PC players just wanted like the fastest, hardest hitting thing, but the Switch players would like use the weapons you wouldn't expect, like Rampage Hammer to like knock somebody's stamina down, or use the stun guns to like try to lock them down and use in creative play styles. They didn't always work, but sometimes they pulled it off, and it'd be quite entertaining during the fight nights and tournament.
Yeah. Nah, that's fire. That's fire.
And even so, the Switch folks, they were a little more into like the what do you call it? Like the PvE aspect of it, I guess.
Yeah.
They liked customizing their robots and coming up with cool paint jobs and writing stories for characters and stuff, for their own characters, and getting into the lore and the RP and everything, which I thought, it was really cool.
They had like a little speed run scene for a little bit, and then the fashion contest we used to do was always fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And for PC, it was more like, and you see it in the Discord all the time. People would join the Discord, beat the game, and leave. And that was pretty much it.
I
For
mean,
PC was a lot faster
you
moving.
know, PC people are very
Hardcore,
optimal.
yeah, optimal,
Optimal, get the job done, move on to the next
yeah.
game type of people, you know,
But the
like
Switch folks,
so.
for the most part, stuck around for the longest and would always pull out the bigger numbers, man.
Yeah, but I'm just glad we're gonna have a version of this game where like the conversation around it won't be, but it doesn't run well.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like bring up, there will be talks of, wait, isn't that game kind of slow, or like, isn't its frame rate kind of, especially because I feel like those early days when people weren't fully familiar with Daemon X Machina yet, and we didn't see all this late game stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm talking about the days when the demo came out on
Mm-hmm.
Switch and all that kind of stuff.
This game's too
People were like,
slow.
yeah, it's too slow. This game feels kind of clunky because people didn't understand the
Mm,
language of this style of mech game, you know.
right.
But now that I think people understand the language a bit more, run that across all the platforms, it's going to run nicely.
Right.
I'm glad we're going to see this game get a second shot, pretty much.
And I definitely think
Um,
like because of it being lucky and doing so good on the Switch, and I still think that helped Armored Core do as well as it did. It helped more people get more interest in that. And then Armored Core, on top of being from software and getting a huge hit off of the Soul series, they're build the fan base even more. So I think more people are going to be even more interested in this next
That's
DXM.
that's an interesting angle. I didn't even think about like how Armored Core 6 kind of can probably set the stage for
Mm-hmm.
what Daemon X Machina. There's going to be a lot of Daemon conversations now that like we're going to have two new entries on the
Right.
market now.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah,
think
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
I
good
think
point.
it's gonna steamroll into the next Armored Core when we ever we get it. But like, I think it's good for mech games. Like, I think mech games are kind of on a somewhat of a resurgence. We even got Mech Break around the
Yeah,
corner too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I think it's a good
Yeah.
place. Like I said on my YouTube, like mech games kind of like I know people are so upset over the not knowing if the big arsenals were back. But I'm like, sometimes we gotta like. I'm not saying I wasn't disappointed, but like we gotta take what we can get sometimes and let the creators build and create and see what we can get and then see how they can bring people into the fold because Gundam's one of the biggest franchises ever. Their games don't do that well. Look at Gundam Evolution, Gundam Versus. These games don't do very good. Like, but you gotta let them create and I'm not saying support garbage, but you know what I'm saying? Give it a chance.
Yeah, no,
What
I
were you
think
going to say,
to me, I
Smoke?
don't care what they look like as long as it feels
That's
like
my thing.
you know, like the way they felt in Demon X Machina 1 or comparable because that I just love the gameplay. And
Right.
it's really the end game gameplay once you get all the boost up processors and you get all the
Mm-hmm.
flight attachments and you get all the exploration parts like the Mume core and stuff. Then you can move in a way that like I've never felt in any video game before or since. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so I don't really care what the reclaimer looks like. I don't really care what they're wearing per se, or if it's a robot or if it's a mech suit or whatever. But if they move like they did in the first game, then I'm all about it. I don't care. Don't care.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
But I did want my big boys back. But that's mostly where I'm at. Like I'm just gameplay first, man. If the gameplay there and it
Yeah.
feels good, you got me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and we can
And
finally stop the comparisons to freaking what's that game called? Anthem.
definitely after even looking at this IG, I'm starting to see how this is not Anthem.
No, it is not Anthem.
This is different.
I
This is
played
very.
Anthem. This is nothing
Oh
like
yeah.
Anthem. Like,
Anthem is much more like shootery. This still
yeah,
looks like an action game.
Anthem is a
You
third
know.
person shooter with freaking. I mean, I get like they got the power suits, but you don't like. It's just a third person shooter, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
kind of like Warframe.
Um. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
I never
that.
played
Like
or
it's.
heard of Anthem, but I got comments on Twitter. I was posting some screenshots from the demo, and they're like, "Hey, this anything like Anthem? I'm like, I don't know.
No. I guess the only simulators I guess would be the power suits, but it looks like the arsenals here in DXM are gonna play like the mechs we know, like for the most part. So when you were flying in the Daemon, were you able to go up and down easier? Like, well, being able to get horizontal or down and up, was that like a
Oh
lot
yeah, it
better
took me
than
a
the
sec.
first one?
It does seem you fly around pretty much exactly like the first game,
Oh,
except for instead of having you do have an actual quick boost on the right bumper. It's like a full-on Armor Core 6 style quick boost. When I was using it, the recovery time seemed pretty high. Like it wasn't something you could spam, but I have a feeling that's also something that you can change with parts, different boosters or whatever, different arms. I don't know, because it
do
looks like
y'all
you
hear
got
my cat?
arm
Big
rockets that kind
it.
of push you around.
Y'all hear my cat
Yeah.
in the background?
So, oh, you got a
She
cat?
going
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, there he is.
I have two. I just hear her yelling in my ear.
And the so instead of a one button descend, because pre in Armor Core, I'm sorry, Armor Core. In Demon X Machina 1, you have ascend and descend, and the descend is like it just cuts off your boost. In this case, you double tap the ascend button, and that's how you fall.
Ooh, okay, okay,
Mhm. I was
Mm.
trying to, I
interesting.
was like looking at the controls and looking at the ground and like flying towards the ground, and I hit it with my head, but then I couldn't land. And they were like, "Wait," I was like, "Do you know how to descend?" And the one producer had to ask the other producer, "Hey, do you know how to descend?" And but we figured it out, so it was all good.
I was gonna ask, and this will be my last question because I actually have to dip
Yeah, go ahead.
in like right now. But do do you remember like smooth landing in Daemon X Machina 1? How like um you know when you land in Daemon X Machina 1, if you're not like boosting your mech or your arsenal will have like some recovery time. So uh when I would land, I would have to like boost close to the ground and like smoothly land so that there's no like recovery time when were there any like did you have I don't know if you did you have time to test like the movement nuances of how this game works for stuff like that?
A little
Or
bit. I noticed that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. If you're
no, I was done. I was done. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. So flying around in the air, the airspeed and the ground speed, and again, this could all completely change with different armor parts and stuff. But it felt pretty much identical. Like I was moving the same speed in the air as I was on the ground. I was not like blasting around. So it seemed, and because also the size of your character, it seemed like I didn't really get any hard landings. All the landings felt
Gotcha.
like Spider-Man landing, kind of, where
Okay.
you could just kind of just keep on walking. And I
Okay.
noticed there wasn't, in Demon X Machina 1, if you fly and you turn in certain directions, or if you strafe in certain directions, you do like a spin or a barrel roll
Spin,
or a
yeah.
spiral.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice any of that just yet
Gotcha.
in this game. So we'll have to see. Again, maybe I just like wasn't able to get to the speed required for that because the starter
Yeah.
parts or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. That you
aerial
answered
and
it.
ground movement both felt pretty similar, except for in the air, when you're holding down that boost, you can do those big Superman style arcing flight, kind of like Iron Man in Avengers. Flying around with the boost on kind of felt like that.
Okay.
Word.
Nah, this is
Okay,
very
y'all.
tight.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This was I'm sorry, I gotta head out. I gotta
Nah,
eat,
this is the
get ready for
Oh,
work
no
perfect.
worries.
tomorrow.
We can end it here. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining. Thank you guys for you know joining in on this topic. We'll probably do this again at least one more time, right, guys? At
Oh
least
yeah,
When is the
one
game
more
coming
absolutely.
out?
time. September something.
Well, no, we don't.
Fifth,
We
I
got
believe.
we got more than that. We
Okay.
got probably two or three more times because we're gonna have another trailer and probably a demo at
Yeah, I
some
think we're gonna
point
do demo.
too.
Yes, I definitely
So
think everyone's going to be able to get their hands on that demo probably
Let's
sooner
yeah.
than later.
go.
Oh, sooner than we think.
I mean, it was ready. So
Okay,
perhaps.
okay, yo, fingers crossed, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
because we got 3 months, and I'm expecting a demo and another trailer, so we'll probably meet up again a couple more times
Okay,
before
for
September.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
look forward to that. Maybe we'll have more planning this time. This is kind of last minute. Again, I appreciate you guys for showing up so much.
And
And
no
yeah,
problem, man.
thank you guys. I'll see y'all later. Check the YouTube. Hit up GK Disorder, my fighting game pros, my DXM vets, the Demon Boys, and yeah, we'll catch y'all later. Y'all be safe.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye. Thank you so much. This is great. I'll see you
This was
soon.
awesome.